Hi, everyone, and welcome to another brand new video from the 7 Spot YouTube channel. Unless you've been living in a cave, if you're a kit car enthusiast, you'll know that this weekend coming is the National Kit Car Show, and it's actually moved to a new location. So what we thought we'd do is do a quick sort of podcast preview of the show, so you know about all the new stuff's coming up. Unfortunately, there's so much stuff there we can't talk about absolutely everything. But I'm really pleased to say Adam Wilkins, editor of Complete Kit Car Magazine, has agreed to join us to run through some of the highlights of the show that's coming up. Welcome, Adam.
Hi, Trevor.
Hi. How are you?
Good, thank you. Yes, how are you?
Yeah, very good, very good. What do you think about this move to Malvern? Because historically, the show's always been known as Stoneleigh. So it's obviously a new location. I think it's a great move.
I do too. We actually keep calling it Stoneleigh in the office, so we'll try not to drive to the wrong place on Friday. Yeah, I think it's a good move too. I think the Three Counties Showground is a really nice venue, really picturesque, nice part of the country, and yeah, should be the right size for the show, really. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. I think it suits the yeah. Sorry, you were just buffering a bit there. I think it's a great. So I've been there. Would you believe? Going back over 20 years, there was a kit car show there back in the early 2000s. I don't. I think it only ran once or twice. But I think for the scale the industry is now, I think that's an absolute ideal location, and also balanced with Newark. I think that's just a great pairing, really, because it suits enthusiasts both ends of the country.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Rather than sort of having one show in the middle, there's sort of one each side at each end of the summer, really. So yeah, should be good.
Brilliant. Well, as I touched on earlier, there's obviously quite a lot of exhibitors at the show, and what we thought we'd touch on is just sort of really the new stuff that's coming out. There are obviously other exhibitors, and you'll see those all in the show guide. But what I thought we'd do is just sort of go through really the sort of the new launches on the show this time round, and and the first one out of the bag, we've both been there. Westfield Chesil are back. What great news!
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've watched your video as well. Yeah, no, it seems there's a lot going on at Westfield and Chesil. Yeah, a lot of it has been behind the scenes up until now. But yeah, this will be their first appearance at a kit car show um, under the new ownership. So yeah, I think there'll be lots of existing owners and potential owners really keen to see what's going on there and get it from the horse's mouth themselves.
Yeah, and I think Nigel and Simeon there are doing a great job of bringing it back to the market really professionally as well. From what we've both seen.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's yeah, no, it's gonna be it's good to see two marks that have been really well established in the kit car scene over the years, sort of back to the fore really, and where they should be.
Yeah, I agree. Not too sure about the electric power. As you probably know, I'm not a big EV fan. So, but they seem, I believe they're bringing a new EV powered Westfield as well. So there will be certainly a lot to see on the Westfield Chesil stand.
Yeah, definitely, and I think EV actually suits the Chesil quite well. I don't think with that style of car, I don't think you're losing too much by ditching the Beetle engine in favour of a motor and some batteries. As for an EV7, I don't know. Yeah, like you, I'm a bit unsure about that. But certainly with the Chesil, I think it suits it really well.
Yeah, I think for that market actually, and watching if you watch our video, Simeon gives a good explanation of why they're chasing that down. Okay, so moving on, one of the show's title sponsors, XCS, they're bringing along the is it Daiichi? How do you say Daiichi?
Dieci, I think it's Italian for 10, isn't it?
Right, my Italian's not great, but they're bringing along the 4-wheel drive version of that car.
Yeah. That is looking like a serious bit of kit. I've not seen it in the flesh yet, so the show will be my first chance to see it properly. With the Honda engine as well. Yeah, serious bit of kit that, and yeah, taking them into sort of really up in the scale of performance cars, really. So yeah, that is going to be a mega bit of kit. I've driven their Cobra replicas before. Never driven one of their interpretations of the Rush, which is now called Dieci. And the Cobra is really impressive. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they've done with their 7 style car.
And with that 427 you drove, did that have that camber compensation suspension on it? Because that I've looked at closely how it works, and that's really impressive.
It did, yeah. So it was the one with camber compensation on the front and the rear. Yeah, and the way I'd describe that car is it's kind of had the sort of the thunder of a TVR with the finesse of a Lotus. So yeah, in a lighter package with the Dieci, it will be yeah. I mean, just an incredible thing, I imagine.
Well, yeah, with all that power and being able to put it down as well, it is going to be quite some machine. I was thinking about part you touched on about Dax there. I think did a 4-wheel drive way back when. I think the only other one I can remember is Z Cars did one with 2 motorcycle engines, I believe, one doing the front, one doing the back. So there's been a few predecessors, but this really does look a properly serious bit of kit, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Okay, next up, we've got Mev. Manufacturer, who every time you seem to blink, are bringing out a new car, and this year is no different, of course. But something a little bit different, that the R8 Exocet with the rotary engine.
Yeah, which I've driven actually. We had that as our cover car a few months ago. I drove it at Brighton Park. Literally, its first time out as well. They sort of rolled it out the trailer, did a few laps themselves, and then gave me the keys. So yeah, yeah, really coming on really with Stuart Much having taken over ownership of Mev a couple of years ago. This is their first new car under that new ownership. And kind of yeah making their own sort of stamp on it, really.
And because the other thing with that rotary engine, power delivery, how was that? Because it's supposedly just sort of linear and drags you to the horizon, doesn't it?
Exactly that, yeah. And yeah, really revvy. Yeah, just yeah, I think it had about 230 horsepower standard, maybe a little bit more in the Mev. So yeah, seriously quick.
That sounds like a fun bit of car. I think the only twitchy bit, obviously, with any rotary engine is the long term durability, which it had a problem in the RX-8. But with a track car, I can see that if you've got a good engine, it's going to last you the life of the car, then, isn't it?
Exactly. And I mean, kit car owners will, you would think, look after their engine a bit better than maybe an RX-8 that's just a daily car that was, not so well looked after, covering fewer miles as well. I think within the context of a kit car, it sort of overcomes those problems as long as people can get past the reputation.
Yeah, yeah, I'll totally agree with you. And the other thing with Mev, of course, they've got some demo laps they're doing as well to Malvern as a part of the sort of live action part of the event.
Yeah, that's right. So people will be able to jump in the passenger seat and skid around some cones. I saw that Stuart posted a picture earlier on Facebook of the tyres that have just turned up at their factory for the weekend. So yeah, they'll be burning through as many of those as they can over the 2 days.
Imagine they're not going to be quite such good condition come Sunday night.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, next up, I've got down Quantum. Rob down there, who we know is a bit of a fiberglass whiz. He's now owning the replica, which was previously a Mev product, of course, has been through a couple of hands, but now looks pretty secure down there in Devon with Rob.
It does, yeah. I haven't spoken to him for a couple of weeks, and when I spoke to him 2 weeks ago, he was hoping to bring it to the show. So yeah, whether he will or not, I don't know. He wasn't making any promises then, but it may be confirmed by now. I'm not sure. But yeah, he's done some work on that as well. So it's got an all new body mold. It's shorter and narrower than it was before, so the proportions are all different to the replica we've seen before. And they are going to change the name of it as well, because people are not that keen to say they drive a replica. So yeah, it's going to have a more sort of period numbers and letters kind of model name.
Oh, okay. That bit I wasn't aware. I've sort of spoken to Rob a couple of times, but we're hoping, like you, to get down to see him. But I wasn't aware of that. But I can sort of understand that, because it's sort of, I suppose you're adding to the mystique if you take away the repli element of the name.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And yes, it's quite fun to keep people guessing, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah, that's all part of the fun of owning a kit car, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, next up, I have got MK, who I thought I produced a lot of videos, but the guys down at MK, they're pretty relentless, aren't they? If you follow them on Facebook or YouTube, they're knocking out a video, like, by the looks of it, every week.
Yeah, I think 2 a week is their target now, is to produce 2 videos a week. Yeah, so they are very prolific, and they work so hard. I was there last Monday to drive the K20 car that they're bringing to the show. It was my first visit to their new premises. I say new; they've been there for a year now. And yeah, really impressive what they're doing there. They've grown that company so much since Sean and Neil took over a few years ago. Bigger premises, more cars in the workshop, more going on, more cars going out the door. Yeah, really is a kit car success story, that company.
Oh, very much so. And if you like, it's always interesting to see on the videos, it's not just MK products that they have in the workshop, is it? They have literally anything and everything in there, and they're sort of either preparing it for IVA, or they're developing it, or doing repairs or engine swaps. They just seem to have so much going on down there, don't they?
They do, yeah, yeah. When I was there last week, they had a tonic in the workshop, a Westfield, no, not a Westfield, a tonic, a M&R, a Caterham, a few silvers. In fact, they've taken on the ex-silver Phoenix and Striker from Raw that they're going to be relaunching next year. So, yeah, lots going on under that roof.
And what about the that Honda powered the RX-5? How was that?
I was expecting it to be good because I've never driven a bad MK Indy, and I love the K20 engine. So, yeah, I was expecting good things, and yeah, it definitely met my expectations. It's going to be in our next issue, actually, which is out later, sort of 23rd of June, something like that. So, um, yeah, we'll have a full review then. But yeah, good bit of kit. Really enjoyed that.
And that, just slightly divert, and that Honda engine does seem to be a very popular choice at the moment.
It does, yeah. It's sort of a good halfway house, really, between a car engine and a bike engine, because before the VTEC zone, um, it's really docile, easy to live with, like a car engine would be. And then as soon as as soon as the timing changes and you get into the VTEC end of the rev range, it just goes ballistic, and you might as well have a bike engine. Yeah, it's a good sort of best of both worlds unit.
Okay, now the next one, I don't know an awful lot about this, and I'm hoping you can fill it in. Is Vale Automotive with their Boxster GT1 replica, or conversion, I should say. Sorry, I've seen pictures, but I know no more. I've had a quick look around the website.
We have a news item on that car in the issue that's just come out, and we have our fingers firmly crossed that we are going to be doing a photo shoot with it on Friday before we set up for the show for our next issue. That's not confirmed yet, but that's what we're hoping to do. But yeah, completely new company to the industry, new car. The guy who runs the company, he sort of had a bit of a reassessment during lockdown and decided what he wanted to do with the rest of his life. So set about designing a car that he had sketched about 6 or 7 years prior, which is this LMP inspired car to go on a Boxster platform. So it's kind of a mix of late 90s GT1 car styling hues with some more modern elements, like the sort of dorsal fin that you see on more recent LMP cars, all combined into what I think is actually a really cohesive design for the first generation Boxster.
It's interesting. Just as you were discussing that, I was looking down the list and I'm thinking we're a bit like this year on the panel kit side of it. There's a lot of sort of Cobras and Sevens and GT40 guys out there, but it's interesting with the boom in that side of the market. There's not that many at Malvern.
No, I hadn't really twigged that as an omission, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's been a few Boxster based cars that have come out just recently, and yeah, I think this is the only one that's going to be at the show, isn't it?
So now on to the most important stand at the show, CKC. What have you got going on, Adam?
We are well. We'll have a full range of back issues, and the new issue will be on sale as well, and our annual guide. Yeah, and all our range of books. We might also have a car on the stand that is still to be confirmed, even at this late stage. But we we might have a car on the stand. So yeah, we are in the extension at the end of the hall, and you'll find us next door to Mev.
Okay. And of course, you've got a couple of other, for those who don't know, there's a couple of other magazines that you've launched in the last few years, that the Lotus magazine and Alternative Cars as well, and particularly Alternative Cars could be of interest to the kit car enthusiast.
Definitely, yeah. So you can see Absolute Lotus behind me on the wall, if I can point in the right direction in a mirror image. Um, and then, yeah, Alternative Cars came out 2 years ago as a quarterly. We do feature the odd kit car in there, but really it sort of covers those cars that fall in the gap between the mainstream world and the kit car world. So sort of TVR, Morgan, Caterham. Well, Caterham's a kit car. Yeah, that kind of thing. But yeah, we've featured several kit cars over the time as well. So yeah, including a drive of the electric Chesil, actually under its previous ownership. We have a GTM coupe in one of our back issues. Yeah, so yeah, plenty to keep kit car enthusiasts entertained.
Great stuff. Just, I know my eyes are going to wave slightly from the screen, so I just wanted to run through quickly with you the other manufacturers there. We got AK. They, I imagine, because they've just got their GT40 through IVA, haven't they? Their first demonstrator, I believe.
Yeah, so it'll be the first time we've seen the actual AK GT40, because the demonstrator they've been bringing to shows previously is Neil, one of the directors, Southern GT. So the AK does come from the Southern GT. They bought the rights to that car and took it on. But yeah, this will be the first time we've seen a AK GT40 sort of ground up car. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, along with their XKSS as well, which, as we know, of recent Jaguar replicas are a bit of a of a touchy area.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, that'll be a great stand. GBS will be there as well. I'm not aware. I've seen they've got a 1400 Kawasaki bike engine car, but I'm not sure there's anything else brand new that they've got, because obviously they have the parts as well.
they are bringing their new race car, actually, the race version of the Zero. So um, yeah, so that will be something new.
Okay, Hawk will be there as ever. Always great supporters of the kit car shows. They'll be there with the Stratos replicas and the Cobra replicas.
Yeah, I imagine Hawk will probably bring their all steel version of the Stratos. So that's worth taking a closer look at, because you could easily walk past that car thinking it's a Hawk you've seen before, but yeah, actually it's all steel, and yeah, definitely worth a close look at.
Literally all steel.
Well, yeah, it will have composite front and rear clips, but yeah, the center section is steel.
DJC will be there with the WR3, which was an evolution of the V Storm, wasn't it, at one point?
It was the SDRV Storm prior to that. Yep.
So they'll be there. Tornado will be there, probably the most established, well, one of the most established, longest single ownership kit car manufacturers out there, I think. Tornado with their GT40 replica.
Yeah, definitely up there with Auto Tune. Auto Tune's another one that won't be at the show, but another one that's under the same ownership for a long time.
That they have. And Hambley, they'll be there with the GTM Coupe.
Correct. Yep.
Now, JK, I don't know a lot about that. They're Belgium. They like a DAX agent of the past.
They were, yeah. So they were the DAX agent in the Benelux region, and then obviously DAX went through some troubled periods, and it's come out the other side of that under the ownership of John Cox, who has made many appearances in the UK at shows since he took over. But yeah, he's based in Belgium.
On the show plan, that I think is covering everybody. Just to remind you, it's this weekend. It's the 3rd and 4th of June. It's at the Three Counties Showground near Malvern. Adult tickets are £15. Kit car drivers get in for free. But if you're camping, there is a small extra charge. Children 12 to 16 are £5. I think that's about it. Oh, you also get in if you're driving a classic or a custom car. So they're obviously attracting a slightly wider audience, which is great to see. It's all stuff we like to look at, isn't it?
It is, yeah. No, it's good to have the mix in there.
Yeah, and then next up, just 7 weeks away, will be Newark, which for you, I imagine, you can almost open your front door and walk there, can't you?
It's half an hour down the road from here, so that's easy.
So that's the 22nd and 23rd of June, and I imagine I haven't seen an exhibitors list for that, but I imagine it would probably be fairly similar to Malvern, wouldn't it?
I think so. Yeah, I've not seen an exhibitor list yet either, but yeah, I think Grosvenor will probably release that soon after Malvern. So yeah, it comes relatively hot on the heels of the Malvern show.
Well, Adam, thank you so much for getting. I know you were really, really busy, and I badgered you a little bit, so I really do appreciate it. But I think people will have loved a little bit of an insight from you as to what they can see at Malvern, and hopefully, maybe it's just tipped a few more people over the edge to come up and have a look round for the day. It's on Saturday and Sunday. You know, you'll be there all weekend, so yeah, hopefully, it's given people a little bit of an insight.
Yeah, no, well, thank you for inviting me.
No problem at all. So thank you very much, everyone, again for watching. As ever, I'm going to ask you the regular things. If you can click a like, that's great. If you can click subscribe, even better. And we'd love it if you'd drop us a comment. Is there any particular cars in there that's a favourite of yours? Is there one that isn't going to be at the show that you'd love to see there? Yeah, drop a comment in below. We'd love to hear from you. And if not, we will see you in some way, shape or form over the weekend. So it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me, and see you at the show.
Okay, drive safe, everyone, and take care.